Are you guys hearing that? I think it's time. I think it's TIj time! What's up, everybody? Welcome to SLC Puck! I'm your host, Austin Facer, and it's time. We've been waiting for it for a few months now, a few games. We're finally getting a look at Utah's first ever first-round draft selection. TIj Iginla, son of Doan Iginla. He's considered to be the Utah Hockey Club's top prospect. We got our first look at him tonight in a big win over our I hate these guys, over our rivals, the Colorado Avalanche. The game just wrapped up about 20 minutes ago. I'm coming to you live from the basement. It's good to be with you. I'm your host, Austin Facer. We're talking TIj. We're talking recap of tonight's game. We're going to talk Friday's game as well, a loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. Gosh, I don't like those guys either. And we're also going to dive in a little bit on Smith Entertainment Group, SEG Plus. I want to talk a little bit about the broadcast tonight as well. Some good, some bad, all that good stuff. That's coming up for you on episode 45 of SLC Puck, being recorded on Sunday, September 29th. You might be listening to this on Monday, September 30th. But whenever you're listening to it, I'm glad you did. I appreciate you for tuning in. If you want to support the show, here's what you can do, okay, guys? Again, I've said this in the last few episodes. It's getting a bit colder, and I want to take care of you guys. I want you guys to have everything you need to get through a harsh Utah winter. There's going to be indoor snow, for crying out loud, at the Utah Hockey Club's first ever regular season home game on October 8th against the Chicago Blackhawks. So I want you guys to be prepared for the indoor snow. It's going to be a little bit chilly. So I just added this new item into the shop at slcpuck.shop. It's the upside down beanie. It's this hat. You see this right here? This hat's restocked, by the way. If you want it, hop in there and get it on slcpuck.shop. But I've also added a colder weather option, the beanie. So I think that's going to be a good choice. And look at that, $20 freaking dollars. That's a screaming deal. Go get yourself one of those right meow. But other ways you can support the show: like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever the heck you find this thing. But again, yeah, the clock struck midnight, I guess, or whatever. I'm some kind of clock metaphor. You know what I'm trying to say. It's TIj time. TIj Iginla made his debut tonight. He missed the rookie face-off that they had at the start of end of August, maybe, or start of September. The time is like blurring. It blurs together now. I'm not really sure when all this happened. It's only been just over 5 months since it was announced that the team was going to come here, and that just flew by. And we're already 45 episodes into this little project here I've been working on. So that's crazy. But hey, again, it feels like it wasn't too long ago that we were at the Delta Center for the NHL draft party, which I did a vlog on, by the way. And I saw by the way, you should check out that vlog, because I think it's pretty good. I think I sort of captured the spirit of the thing fairly well. What's funny is I saw the guy who was sitting in front of me, and I so badly wish I could remember his name. I think he watches the show now, but the guy who was sitting in front of me, I bumped into him at the game at the Delta Center the other day against gosh, this is all blurring together so fast, against the Kings the other day. Said hi to him, and I said, "Hey, you were instrumental in that video, man. I really appreciate it." So I'm hoping to see him again. I'm sure I'll see a lot of you guys at games coming up. I am planning on being there on the 8th, and I'm looking into going to the game they have at the Maverick Center on the 5th, their last preseason game against the Avalanche. Again, that's on the 5th. So anyway, TIj time. We saw TIj get drafted at that vlog party. My reaction was, whoa! Because I think going into that, what the NHL pundits were saying was that the Utah Hockey Club was probably going to select a defenseman, all that. They pivoted. They went with a prospect, a guy they really seemed to like, TIj Iginla. And, it's funny to see just how high TIj was on their draft board. You learn a lot more about him by watching the latest episode of Fresh Ice, which is on SEG Media. Again, it's their Hard Knock style documentary that they're going to have, new episodes throughout the year, sure. But episode 2 was about the draft. And it was really interesting. They went into, the sort of the pre-draft process. So they gave some behind the scenes, an inside look at the pre-draft meeting, which, as far as I could tell, looked like they had it like a conference room in the Grand America, or the Little America in downtown Salt Lake. I'm going to guess it was the Grand America. But, this was a meeting that was led by the Armstrong boys, not related, Chris Armstrong, Bill Armstrong, GMBA, my man crush, all that. And again, it was really interesting to watch this documentary. And Bill starts by saying, listen, he's addressing all scouts. They're about to have a powwow to talk about who they want to go with. And Bill says, listen, guys, here's the plan. We're going to take the effing best player available. All right. We're not going to worry about positional fit. We want the best effing. He said he cusses. They blur it out. I'm not going to do it. I'm on KSL.com right now. I can't cuss. But he said, we're going to take the best effing player in this draft. Let's get started. Let's start with TIj. And so what does that tell you? TIj was probably top of their list. They talk about him. I wrote his name down, but their director of scouting was like, TIj has been killing it from his 16-year-old season to his 17-year-old season. His production, his improvement has been like that. And statistically, that's true. I think he like went from scoring like 6 goals to like 46 goals or something. It's something crazy. I had this written down, but look, I have so many freaking notes here. We're gonna cover 2 games. We're gonna cover TIj Iginla. We're gonna cover all the stuff. It's hard to keep it all in order, but check out Fresh Ice. You'll see what I mean. Check out TIj's statistical progression. You'll get what I'm saying better. But they're like they do this powwow. They talk about TIj. They're like he talks a lot. He talks a lot like his dad, Jerome Iginla. He looks like him. And then sort of to put the punctuation on their meeting, Bill Armstrong goes, "We're getting him." And now, fast forward to, I believe that was June that they drafted TIj Iginla. Fast forward, we're talking here in September. We got our first look at the boy. And I say boy because he's an 18-year-old. He just turned 18 in August. But I was really impressed with what we saw out of him tonight. And I'm looking at the stat sheet, sort of on the lower end on the time of ice. I can see here as far as the rest of his team. That was because he spent almost 5 minutes in the penalty box. He had a 2-minute a double major, 4-minute double major for high sticking. He was sort of a little bit reckless with his stick and hit a Colorado guy in the mouth and drew blood. So that became a double minor. But other than that, Colorado ended up scoring on that power play. But other than that, I think there were a lot of things to really like about TIj Iginla's game. He was active. I think he was not passive. He was definitely a part of the action. And what I liked most about him is he was prepared to score at all times in the offensive zone. He was an aggressive forechecker. He was ready to score. He was in good position. He had 2 shots on goal. One of them was kind of like from a distance, didn't really have a shot. But then he had this spinning backhander that was kind of on a loose puck. Those kinds of goals go in all the time. I thought that was great aggressive play. His forechecking was strong. He was on a line with a couple of other really strong forecheckers. I'm going to just pause myself every once in a while to just give you a bit of hockey terminology. Forechecking is when the puck is like deep in the offensive zone, and it's when the offensive players are aggressively trying to pursue it, get it from the defense. That's called forechecking. When the puck leaves the zone and is headed towards the other team's offensive zone, what is your defensive zone? Trying to get the puck back after the blue line, that's called back checking. Okay, so forechecking. You're aggressive. You're in the zone. You're trying to get the puck. You're in the corners. You're behind the net a lot. You're on the sideboards. TIj, I thought, did a really nice job in that role. I think there was like a lot of speed there too in his pursuit on the forecheck. Again, I thought it was awesome. I said this about halfway through the game. I'm like, TIj is ready to score. He's got his stick down. He's in good position. He's setting himself up to receive a pass to score. We saw that happen a couple times. Dylan Guenther scored 2 goals tonight on one-timers that were unbelievable. We've talked about how this guy, just signed a $56 million contract. He's known as like the sniper on the team. He's got a great shot. He showed it off tonight. I want to talk a little bit more about him in a minute, but TIj was ready to go in the same way. And so that was a lot of fun. Again, it's funny we talk about these guys who are first-round picks, and I think for a lot of sports fans here in Utah, when the Utah Jazz have a first-round pick, we sort of expect to see them suiting up at some point for the Jazz. In some cases, playing a lot for the Jazz. In the NHL, that's not always the case. I think you're going to see like maybe the first or second or third overall pick play a lot. Like good example this year is Macklin Celebrini, who was drafted first overall by the Sharks. He's going to play a lot this year. He's going to be on their opening night roster. TIj, we love you. We're happy we saw you. I liked what I saw. You seem like a nice kid. You're a really good guy. We're not going to see him, on a consistent basis for the Utah Hockey Club for another year at least. Might be 2. So relish the moment. I would say, but what might be fun would be to like kind of buy your stock now in TIj Iginla. I mean, getting like a Utah Hockey Club Iginla number 12 jersey, that would be kind of sick. You would get a lot of fist bumps from people not only at the Delta Center, but people at the bar, at work, at the speed dating place that I know a lot of you go to. I think is speed dating back in. I got an invite to a speed dating thing the other day, and I'm like, is that it was in the 40-Year-Old Virgin. I remember that, but I was like, do people really do that? I don't know, but if you do, wear your TIj Iginla jersey to that. You'll clean house. You'll do great. I promise you that. But again, I for me, like, that was what I was most interested in seeing going in this game. I think it was tweeted out probably a few hours before that he was going to make his debut at the Utah Hockey Club. And again, I'll just to bring it home, I was impressed. He did not look like a boy among men. He looked like a man among men. He fit in very well, and I think that's encouraging. It feels like if he continues on that upward trajectory that was talked about in Fresh Ice. Ooh, 20-year-old TIj. Ooh, that's going to be exciting. And 25-year-old TIj, even better. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about that. So get your TIj Iginla stock right now. I am fully buying into it. But I think the other big thing that I enjoyed watching about this game, and it was very different from the Vegas Golden Knights game that they played on Friday, and I'll just go over that really quick. So the 5-2 loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. I think in that one, the Utah Hockey Club was severely overmatched. Vegas suited up pretty much for the majority, like their NHL roster. In preseason, it's kind of like the NFL, right? You watch the NFL preseason, in the NFL in training camp, they invite 90 guys. And then about, a couple preseasons into it, they make the big roster cuts to get down to 53. I think it's kind of a similar thing here in the NHL. I think we're learning, obviously there's a big group that's at Utah Hockey Club training camp. And then, a lot of the guys who really aren't going to make that cut to be on the NHL team, they're still getting reps in the preseason. They want to, be able to sort these guys out. Okay, this guy's going to the ECHL, Allen Americans. This guy's going to the AHL, Tucson Roadrunners. They're trying to get people in their spots, right? But Vegas sort of rolled out for large part what was probably going to be their NHL team. Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Aiden Hill, those guys. Whereas on Friday, Utah, Logan Cooley, Matthias Michelli did suit up, but there was no Mikhail Sergachev, no Clayton Keller, no Connor Ingram. So, the game started out competitively, scoreless first period. Second period, Utah scored first, followed by a goal by Vegas Golden Knights defenseman, star player Pietrangelo. Again, I'm talking so fast, I'm forgetting his first name. It's Alex Pietrangelo, excuse me. And if I'm wrong, feel free to light me up in the comments. I'm doing this on the fly, okay? Cut me some slack. It's a lot of talking, a lot of names. I've got to remember like 8 names. It's crazy. It's really hard. Follow that, a goal by McGregor. I did not write down his first name, but he's not going to be on the NHL team. But I thought he had a nice game as well. And so Utah had a 2-1 lead. But at that point, Vegas scored 5, or what's that? What's the number there? 4 unanswered goals, including a goal by Jack Eichel, and then 3 goals in the third period to pull away to 5-2 win. Jack Eichel, I thought, made everybody look silly, especially halfway through. Jackson Stauber was subbed out at goalie for Utah, and there was a lot to like about Jackson Stauber on social media. He has a cool mask with like the 2002 Olympic logo on the side of it. A nice little homage to Utah and our sports history here. I think that mask is going to look great on top of an Allen Americans jersey because I think he's probably bound for the ECHL. He gave up 5 goals on 12 shots. And again, Eichel, I thought, made him look silly. That's what you get when you have an NHL All-Star playing against a bunch of minor league hockey guys. That's what that was. But hey, we love it. We love all the Utah hockey guys for their effort. I did not do much on Friday. I just sat on my butt and watched the game on Friday, so I really can't throw any shade at those guys. But still, it was not the complete NHL lineup that you're going to see from the Utah Hockey Club. But hey, we saw a better team come forth on Sunday. Obviously, we saw Clayton Keller, Mikhail Sergachev, Dylan Guenther, Josh Doan, who I thought had a great game as well. They were playing against Colorado's JV team. Colorado sat about 5 of their best players. No Nathan McKinnon, no Cale Makar, no Mika Rantanen, no Alexander Georgiev. It was. I said this on Twitter. It's basically Colorado's JV team. To get the win with the bulk of the Utah Hockey Club's NHL guys, I thought was good and expected. It would have been a little alarming if they hadn't won, but I think there were a lot of things that Coach Cherniev, and I am not great at pronouncing names, and what I like about him is he's just got like a shortcut. They call him Coach Bear. Coach Bear. Coach Bear is your name henceforth and will forever be on this podcast, especially a podcast where the host struggles mightily with these exotic names, right? And he's from Quebec too. It's kind of fun to listen to him talk. I think culture is really important to him, and I think that's cool. I like that. But I talked so much about TIj. It was TIj time. But they rolled out a line tonight that I thought was really good. It was at center was Barrett Hayton. On the one wing was Clayton Keller. The other wing was Dylan Guenther. And that's a different line than what is expected to roll out on opening night. And just to pop over to my second screen here, these are the lineups that the Daily Faceoff is projecting for Utah Hockey Club, just based on their boots on the ground people. These guys are the ultimate hockey experts here. They're projecting the opening line to be Keller, Hayton, Schmaltz, and we haven't seen a ton of Schmaltz so far in this preseason. Dylan Guenther, I think you could argue, has been the team's MVP. You could also argue that Michael Carconi's been playing very well, but Dylan Guenther was lights out tonight. I think you saw a lot of shades of him looking like Alexander Ovechkin with those one-timer goals. And again, I'll stop right here. What's a one-timer, you ask? Well, a one-timer, if you're new to hockey, is basically the act of like receiving a pass and shooting it without catching it, if that makes sense. So they don't even stop the puck on their stick. It's a matter of timing, just hitting the puck on a slap shot right as it comes to you, right in the sweet spot. It's really hard to do. And Alexander Ovechkin scored about 800 goals this way. He's going to try to be the NHL's all-time goal scoring champion at some point in the next year, maybe 2. I'm guessing it might take 2. But Dylan Guenther connected on 2 of those tonight and just ripped him right into the back of the net. That was great to see. But it's interesting to be in camp because, like I said, there's cuts coming. There's limited spots available on this team. I've asked so many times if I can compete for a spot on this team. I said, listen, I know I haven't played in a competitive hockey game in almost 15 years. I'm not sure where my hockey gloves are. I don't think my skates are very sharp right now, and I'm terrified that I'm going to get hurt, but I would still like to compete for a spot. I've been told no. Just kidding, I haven't asked. But again, there are very limited spots on this team. And just to pop over to the lines here. All right, so these are just the projections right here. First line, second line. I would be really interested to see if they swap Schmaltz and Guenther and put Guenther on that first line. I just thought these guys played so well this game. So it might be interesting to see them, shake that up. And that's what the preseason's about after all. And again, I hope you're following this because I'm just this is a stream of consciousness, right? And anyway, so right here, this spot right here, this fourth line winger spot is the spot that's available. And right now they have Josh Doan slated in there, and that was the projection as of September 28th. Right, that's what they're thinking. But again, it's sort of a battle, right? Because if you remember, Spicy Tuna is also on this team. Liam O'Brien, we love him. He has the locks. He throws the fists. We like him a lot. Let's get this place buzzing. We all remember that guy. His spot, you'll notice he's not on this roster. And that's sort of something that I've theorized as well, is that he's going to be like not active every night. He's going to be a healthy scratch most of the time, just when they need him to fight or whatnot, which is not a bad role, but still, I'm sure he would like to see himself have more of a stable role on this team. He's competing for this spot. I've talked about Kyler Yamamoto. He's like an NHL veteran, young guy, still only 25, but still trying to save his NHL career. He's on a professional tryout. He's competing for this spot. So you're seeing like within this team on training camp, like a lot of competition, not just against, whoever the opponent happens to be. Maybe it's the Avalanche. Maybe it's the Golden Knights. Really, the competition is happening internally, especially for this one of these last spots on the forward unit. And it feels like tonight with his performance, Josh Doan might have grabbed it. I thought he played really well. And for him, I know you're like, Josh Doan, he's the son of Shane Doan, isn't he a Nepo baby? Can't he just get, nepotized right into that role? No, you can't. You have to earn it. He's only played in 11 NHL games. He played last year, but he came on the scene in a big way, scored 2 goals in his debut. I've shown the video. His dad, Shane Doan, who's like the John Stockton of the the Arizona Coyotes, was like, having like an out of body experience. A lot of fun. Still, Josh is a budding prospect. He's a young guy. He's just in his early 20s. So that spot is not guaranteed. But tonight he played really well, and he was kind of involved on all the units. He was on in even strength, power play, penalty kill. He played center when they were at even strength, which, he talked about this after the game, required a bit more skating. But I think they really that's the matchup that I'm sure the coaching staff is looking at. It's Yamamoto, Josh Doan, maybe a little bit of Liam O'Brien. And interestingly, those 3 guys all played on a line together tonight. But I think they're looking to see who stands out in that group. And I think tonight it was easily Josh Doan. And I thought that even before he scored his goal tonight. It was a nice little rebound, shot by O'Brien from a distance. Rebound came out to Josh Doan. But I thought Doan was pretty active. I thought he was doing a great job. I'm sure they want to see him play a little bit tougher, especially on the penalty kill and all that. But I say hats off to Josh Doan. I enjoyed watching him. And again, the last thing I want to touch on in tonight's show, and again, you might be listening to this on Monday, I think we should probably talk again about the Utah Hockey Club Plus broadcast, because I think that was the only way to watch the game tonight. And for the second time in 4 games this preseason, I thought it left a little bit to be desired for. It was slightly better than the Blues game on Iowa last week, when they were in Iowa, I should say, on the island of Iowa, when they were in Iowa. The score bug had slightly more information, had shots on goal, a timeout indicator in the corner. Didn't have penalty time, though, still. So, if I had to give that first game like a grade, it would definitely, as far as a broadcast, I think it definitely would have been like a C- D+ range. I would give tonight's like a sort of a C+, with the other 2 broadcasts being in the A-B territory. So again, it's really confusing. They went from a bad broadcast the first game, and then the next 2 games were pretty good. It was definitely a very professional broadcast. They had the full crew. They had Matt McConnell, Dominic Moore, their whole team there doing the broadcast. But for these ones, the Iowa one, the one tonight, the bad ones, we'll call them, it was Mike Folta and Nick Olchek. I think they were just doing a simulcast on the radio. And then when they cut to them in the booth, it was like on just someone's webcam on their laptop. Again, like not great, but it's a little disappointing, right? I think they had this thing where like, you sign up before September 30th, we'll give you all these great perks. You'll get two obstructed view seats, half off of a big purchase at the team store. And I think those perks are now deserved because we had to endure 2 really bad broadcasts. So I say thank you. Hey, well, that's what we get. I think I feel like that was them compensating me for dealing with a difficult broadcast. But get that like technical stuff out of the side, like out of the way. This is the compliment I will give them on that broadcast. Mike Folta and Nick Olchek are really good. They are really, really, really good broadcasters. Obviously, Nick Olchek, you might know his dad's name. His dad is Eddie Olchek, who's been a long time NHL commentator, played in the NHL for quite a few years as well. So Nick sort of followed in his steps on the broadcasting level. I think Nick does a really good job explaining the game, sort of, I guess, dumbing it down, realizing that he's speaking to like an audience of people who were probably new to hockey here in Utah. I think he does a great job explaining like the finer points of the game, like why this happened, what's going on here. He's smooth too. He's got a really nice style. But I absolutely love Mike Folta, who's the radio announcer. And it's kind of, I wanted to like learn a little bit more about Mike as I was listening to him, because a lot, like he had some really fun like metaphors and like, you know, similes, I guess, you know, like he talked about Costco on the broadcast, which definitely caught my ear. I've documented many times on the show. I absolutely adore Costco, and so it's good to hear that Mike is also a fan of America's wholesale bulk leader. He said something like there was one, I can't remember who it was, but someone was like sort of stick handling through the middle of the ice, and he's like, they're dancing like a minnow on dry land, and I was like, that's clever, that's pretty good. I like stuff like that. And then, you know, they changed it up on the penalty kill, and he likened it to, he's like, Utah's got 4 fresh tires now on the penalty kill. I'm like, that's really good. That's really clever. And then, you know, he talked about someone else doing a poke check, and he's like, he's got those go gadget arms. Like, this guy's awesome. Mike Folta's really good. And it's cool. I want to learn more about him. He's like a young guy. He was in minor league hockey for a while, which meant not only was he doing the play-by-play commentary, he was also doubling as like the team's PR guy. So he was probably crazy busy, underpaid. Makes me happy that a guy like that's getting a chance. For me, as a failed member of sports media, I love seeing like a success story like him. He's really good too. I think he's really good. And you know, I looked him up on LinkedIn just during the game, like just sort of learning more about his career. Like I said, he was in minor league hockey last year, but he has a degree in industrial engineering from Purdue. Just like, that's like a really nice degree to have from a great school. And he's choosing to enthrall us on the radio waves with the Utah Hockey Club. So I'm sort of big on Mike Folta right now. I like the guy. If you listen to the show, if you happen to know him, clip this, send it to him, tell him I'm a big fan. I love Mike Folta. He was the highlight of a bad broadcast. He and Nick Olczyk were awesome. So that was sort of my big takeaway tonight, as well as stuff from TIj Iginla, Josh Doan, Dylan Guenther. Names to know, names to love. Another name to know, to love is me, as Austin Facer. I'm the host of SLC Puck. Thank you for tuning in to episode 45. Wherever you found me, like, comment, subscribe. Go to SLC Puck for merch. Get yourself a beanie. Get a beanie for the ladies. I think the stock model on that beanie is like a woman. By the way, those beanies haven't been made yet, but you know, I drop in the design and they just put it on a stock model, and it just happened to be like a nice looking girl. So just imagine that. You know, if you got a nice looking girl in your life, get her a beanie. I bet she'll be psyched on an SLC Puck beanie. But we appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Utah Hockey Club is going to play twice before we talk again. They're playing the Sharks on Tuesday and the Ducks on Wednesday. That's a late game on Wednesday, so I'm not sure when I'll be coming at you then. But we'll talk soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys.